For thousands of years, the clothes of Buddhist monks were made according to strict codes that stipulated the smallest details, both sewing and alteration or repair. The monk has only one suit, and any part of it can only be replaced if it has 10 patches. According to some beliefs, orange was chosen as the color that symbolizes the religion of Buddhism because it is the color that carries and attracts the most energy. Let's share one more important fact about orange robes. The original monks obtained their robes from piles of garbage. These monks collect discarded fabrics. After washing the scraps thoroughly, they boil the cloth with herbal substances such as certain leaves, roots and flowers. Spices are also said to be added to give the cloth an orange color. Today, 450 million Buddhists do not practice Buddhism with such strict rules. In some countries, such as Western Europe, America and Australia, a new Buddhist sect, Zen Buddhism, has gained traction in followers. In this fast-growing religious movement, many Buddhists living far from Tibet do not shave their heads. From the outside, Buddhism appears to be a religion of peace, motivation and serenity, but Buddhist monks are devoted to their religion, excluding themselves from worldly affairs and not believing in the lies of life. The reason why they shave their hair is because they want to keep a low profile. The Buddhist code of ethics has 5 basic principles. They include refraining from taking life, not stealing, refraining from sexual misconduct, refraining from lying, and abstaining from intoxicants. Accepting the 5 precepts is part of both joining Buddhism and practicing Buddhist devotion. The precepts are not designed as mandatory commandments to be followed, but rather as educational rules to be accepted and followed voluntarily by the people, making it easier to practice. Tibetan monks, whom we have seen in many historical fiction films, became popular through cinema. Their fame, which spread around the world through cinema, brought them an even greater commitment to Buddhist philosophy. As they became famous, they never left the road. Tibetan Buddhist monks, who became the subject of research as their fame grew, were the focus of some scientific studies. They were found to have abilities that went beyond normal parameters. Herbert Benson was a cardiologist and a renowned professor of medicine at Harvard University. In the 1960s he spent a lot of time studying Eastern cultures. The timing was good because the subject was of concern to some people at the time. So he waited until midnight to take 36 Tibetan monks into his laboratory. Benson wanted to see for himself how much myth and how much reality there was in the stories people told about Tibetan monks. But beyond that, abstract meditators were seen as possessing superhuman qualities. After all, Benson was a scientist, and he didn't believe in anything that science couldn't prove. What he discovered that night changed his life forever. In fact, 3 years later, he wrote a book that later became a bestseller. It's called The Relaxation Response. When it became a bestseller, he created an alternative form of medicine. He was someone who said that faith can be cured because the placebo effect has a high healing power. What Herbert Benson and his team found was that Tibetan monks had abilities that contradicted science. For example, a group of Tibetan monks practicing yoga with the Tummo technique could lower the temperature of their hands and feet by as much as 17 degrees. So far, no scientific explanation for this phenomenon has been found, but Harvard Gazette investigated this and several subsequent experiments. Tibetan monks can allegedly raise their body temperature to the point of drying a wet sheet with their bodies. Benson also found that advanced meditators using the Sikkim technique can slow their metabolism by up to 64%. According to research, Tibetan monks were experts in having the dreams they wanted, deep dreaming and waking consciousness. In 1971, Daniel Goleman, the creator of the concept of multiple intelligences, wrote an article. It suggested that the monks may have had a 5th state of consciousness. The research made Tibetan monks increasingly popular. Those who exaggerated the situation even claimed that Tibetan yogis and monks could remain motionless and levitate for several hours. But no evidence has ever been found that this is true. Research has shown that Tibetan monks can produce the same brain waves in sleep as when they wake up. It was also claimed that one Tibetan monk's heart voluntarily stopped pumping blood for 17 seconds without stopping beating. Although the research was widely exaggerated in some media outlets, the Tibetan monks went on with their lives. Their fame, which quickly spread to the modern world, and blockbuster movies did not deter them from the lotus position. Buddhists are truly intriguing with their teachings, thoughts, and lifestyle. Robert Piper, who has been interested in meditation for many years and received serious training on this subject, lived with Buddhist monks in Asia for nearly 9.5 years. Piper shared what he learned and experienced in his writings. The most important lesson he learned was to try something many times before giving up. The monk said that if success is not achieved after several attempts, then the perspective and approach to the situation needs to be changed. The men in orange have this outlook on life: if you don't stop trying, you will eventually get to where you want to be. Tibetan monks spend most of their time in prayer and meditation, and it is impossible to go on a tourist trip and learn their secrets directly. Tibetan monks live in closed monasteries and don't talk much to earthlings. But sometimes travelers manage to settle as guests in the monastery and observe the monk's way of life. Tibetan monks start and end the day with prayer. Monks play sports, work, eat right, do not get angry or swear. The pomp and extravagance that Buddha rebelled against while living in the palace is also the rebellion of Tibetan monks today. Tibetan monks always diet, do not overeat, follow the rule of separate meals, do not mix proteins and carbohydrates, and eat slowly and in small portions. Written sources say that Tibetan monks did not eat meat and preferred only plant foods, as well as butter, cheese, dairy products, and eggs. Is it possible to live long with such a system? There is also a secret hidden in the lotus pose of Tibetan monks, who ate healthy and withdrew from worldly affairs, which spread all over the world. Do not do this movement without the help of an expert. We will talk about the benefits of the lotus position in a moment. First, let's talk about the lotus position technique step by step. Sit on the floor with your legs straight. Bend your right knee and pull it towards you, and place the right ankle on the left groin with the help of your hand. The sole of the foot should point upwards as much as possible. Place your foot firmly on the groin line. Bend the left knee in the same way, pull it towards you, and place the left ankle crossed over the right groin. The sole of the foot should point upwards. Place your foot firmly on the groin line. If you cannot, place it diagonally on the floor and do not force it. Place your hands on your thighs with the thumb and index finger together, palms facing upwards. Let yourself flow in a calm and peaceful way, relax and begin to breathe in and out naturally through the nose. Keeping your eyes closed will help you move more quickly into the state you want to enter, but it is not essential. The lotus pose is an excellent pose, but not everyone can do it on the first try, and this is normal. People who are used to it can use it in their daily meditation, but beginners should use the one that suits them and doesn't strain their knees. At first it is enough to stay in lotus for a few seconds. Lotus is also a double-sided pose. In your practice, work with both legs alternately. Add a few seconds to your sitting time each week. It is best to work with the support of a yoga or meditation instructor. Let's talk about the benefits of the lotus position. Buddha practiced this sitting thousands of years ago to relax his mind. Lotus sitting is believed to open the body's energy channels, the chakras. It improves the flexibility of your hips, knees, and ankles. It allows you to stand more upright, straightens your spine. Improves your posture. It is good against sciatica and menstrual irregularities. Ancient scriptures mention that the lotus pose eliminates all diseases. Lotus is physically a concept in the life of Buddhists,